So now what it's time for is the quiz activity. The quiz activity is huge, okay? It's a really big um, piece because it can be a formative assessment piece. It can be a summative assessment piece. It can be a quick check on something. It's really, really flexible. And with a lot of these tools in Moodle, they're flexible. You gotta can't think just by the name, but what do I want to do and how can I do it? This is probably going to end up being split into two videos. I'll show you how to make the quiz, and then I'll show you how to interact with it, because it's another one like lesson where you make it and then you have to interact with it and build it out once it's been made. So it's like you make a box and then you got to fill the box with what you want. All right, so here we go. Same idea as always. We go here, double click on quiz. I want to make, call this Smith test. I gotta still wait for it to load. The reason why it's gonna be two videos is because the settings are there's a lot of settings in this one too. So it's a quite a big deal. So first is timing, slightly different than availability because it's when you want the quiz open, when you want it closed, how long do they have to take the quiz, and when time expires, what do you want them to do? So you have to make the decisions on all those, and you could put in a grace period if you want. Grades, all the same as before. You could put something in here if you're doing a grade book or not. Layout, okay, so layout is every question is a new page, or never, all questions on one page, or have so many questions per page. So you've got to decide how you want it. I can say from experience, every question being on a page is sometimes cumbersome, but if you do never all questions on one page, it also becomes cumbersome because it could be like a scroll of death. Okay, so then what we have is we go to question behavior. Question behavior is you can shuffle the questions, and if you don't know what that means, it says enable the parts of making up each question will be randomly shuffled. So you can shuffle multiple choice questions. You can shuffle anything that could be shuffled, perhaps matching and stuff in there. And then how do questions behave? Okay, so this is what's called feedback. And what feedback is basically telling you right or wrong or giving you a hint on something. And you won't be able to see these, but you can have what's called adaptive mode, no penalties, deferred feedback with deferred feedback. I don't know what that was. That was a phone call. Sorry. Deferred feedback with CBM, which is their students thinking of if they are right or wrong, like how sure are they of the answer. Immediate feedback with that CBM again, whether they're right or wrong, and interactive with multiple tries. Okay, so what these are is first, deferred means you don't get any feedback on the questions until the end. Immediate feedback means you can submit the question answer right away in the quiz, and you will be graded right there and then, and you only get one try. And that's what immediate feedback is. Adaptive feedback is you get multiple tries at it during the quiz. One of them takes off, like you make it worth 4 points, and then one of them takes off a point each time you try it. Another one doesn't. And then you have interactive with multiple tries, so you can interact with feedback and get multiple tries. So this is where it's so crazy because you have so many options of how you can give the quiz, especially the CBM. Gets into what's called metacognition, and metacognition is really good because it makes the student think about what they know and what they don't know, and so when they get the quiz back, they can start to see what they know and what they don't know, and know where they need to work harder at understanding. There's more here if you want to see more. It says allow redo within an attempt. It says each attempt builds on the last, which is kind of like an averaging method. Okay. Review options. So what this means is when the quiz is returned to the student, when it's graded, this is what they see. So you can determine what they see and what they don't see. If you don't want them to see the correct answers, you can take it off. It's really up to you, and you can see during the attempt, immediately after the attempt, later with the quiz still open, and then after the quiz is closed. So you can change it so they get different feedback depending on that. This is just a really quick one of how you're going to grade it and how it looks. Extra restrictions on attempts, we're not going to get into that. Overall feedback, you can give the overall feedback of the quiz, and this says if you get 100%, you get this. You could put another grade boundary and then put feedback and so on and so forth. So you can give overall feedback of how they did. Now we are on to all the same stuff. The activity completion is you can require a passing grade, and students must receive a grade for this completed activity. So that's pretty much it. That's how you make it. And so when you go save and display, it looks like this. Okay, so here's our quiz. It says edit quiz, back to the course. And so what we would do is, I'm going to show this to you later, say that. So I'll stop